Hello, I'm a tad late, tad tardy, and I apologize. I can't blame Mercury retrograde. That's happening on Saturday, but no excuses. I was just running because the eclipse is here and I got eclipsed. Now you see it, now you don't. You thought it was going to disappear and it's come back. Welcome, friends, to Cosmic Connection. I'm Cassandra Joan Butler, along with you for the next hour, and we're going to be talking about, the astrological weather of the week, a lot about this eclipse that took place just a mere 13 hours ago. I want to know what you're up to, and we're going to be doing some mediumistic messages at the end. So if you're new, a warm welcome, and I'm always excited to see you. And we're going to have some fun tonight because the eclipse energy has a tad of, shall we say, unexpected tweakiness about it. That's any eclipse, especially a lunar eclipse. And this one, my dear friends, is activating our senses about thinking. So we're going to talk about how to think about thinking and also about truth, because this particular lunar eclipse is in Sagittarius, the purveyor of truth, the preacher teacher, the energy of always thinking about the hope of tomorrow. Those are some of the qualities of Sagittarius, and all of us have Sagittarius somewhere in our charts. So if you're new to astrology and you're not sure where you can find the Sagittarius energy, there are tons of wonderful sites out there to get a free chart, mine included. And by the way, big welcome from all over the world, my dear friends. I'm a very proud agent, you know. I work with the CIA, the Cosmic Intelligence Agency. Thank you, Miss Julia, for allowing me to serve here on this particular wonderful Facebook page. And I listen, friends, if you have even a modicum of interest in astrology, please consider joining the CIA. They have tremendous astrologers, agents, shall I say, from around the world who are always sharing their knowledge. And I guess between all of us, I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours, thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of astrological expertise amongst the agents. But in terms of years, it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Gosh, I've been doing it for 40 years. Yeah. Hello, Donna. Hi, Anne-Marie. Hi, Esselyn. Hello, you're from London. So nice to see you. Hi, Julie. Happy to see you today. Sagittarius Sun. Yes, Lindell. You are going to be eclipsed and come back again. And Susan, hello. You're the best too, my dear Susan. Hi, ex-Liz from Glasgow. Oh my gosh, I had the opportunity to visit your neck of the woods. I fell and still am in love with Scotland. Boy, well, lucky me. My sister had a sabbatical with her family there for a year or two. And anyway, big hugs. And I love London too. Denzel, Jennifer, hi, sweetie. Hi, Joan, Lois, and Carolyn, and Ashley, Paula, Nancy. Always great to see you, Nancy, and John, and Terry, and Leslie, and Jude. Elizabeth, hello. Happy full moon. Kathy Darnell, hello, darling. Kristen, Krista, Darla, Rhonda, good evening. Jill, and Sherry, and Lois, and Patricia, and Paula, and Lynn. Thanks for being here, my dear friends. Do you feel different? Do you feel any different? I mean, that eclipse took place around 7:13. That was Eastern Daylight Time. And I have to admit, I woke up. I do not wake up at 7:15 normally. I just don't. I'm one of those weirdos that stay up until 2 in the morning, at the very least, doing rabbit hole research, right? I go down the rabbit hole here and there, and I gather all my details and try to think about thinking, and then I get exhausted, and then I go into my right brain and my meditation and my prayer, and I clear it all out. That's my routine. So 7 in the morning, I'm not awake to the world, but when I did awaken after the eclipse, I was so motivated with all these terrific ideas that I'm going to do some terrific programs and teaching and products for you all. And, ideas are worth a dime a dozen, but I am very motivated because this eclipse has fallen on my chart near my Saturn, which is the energy of building. I call him the grumpy old man. He's the disciplinarian of our charts. And again, I know most of you here in the room have at least taken one look at your chart, but some of you are new to this beautiful wisdom. And when I explain astrology to people who are new to it, I often say it's the only thing I know which talks about the unity between people and everything, because it marks for us that we have all of the energy somewhere within our circle, our magical matrix of which we were born under at the time of birth. So even though we are celebrating the Sagittarius full moon, all of us have Sagittarius somewhere. And that Sagittarius energy, like I said, represents truth. Now, every full moon is a time to see in the dark. And yes, wherever you may be on the planet, now you can witness a full moon cycle. You'll see the moon in all of its glory, illuminating and large and beautiful. And yet this is a full moon on steroids because it's a lunar eclipse. And eclipses have a symbolic meaning. Like I said earlier, now you see something and now you don't. And so with an eclipse, sometimes we may go through some moodiness of thinking something is lost and then it's regained again. So that's one of the essences of this eclipse. And since Sagittarius rules truth, you could make an argument that perhaps somewhere in the next few days, we may be feeling that sense of angst about, is the truth out there? Is there any truth? Is there any truth of mine? Is there any truth with the society that I'm a part of? And will it be regained? So there is a little bit of sense of moodiness with eclipses, but the lunar eclipse is the emotional one. And they often, usually, generally go in pairs. So in 2 weeks, we have the new moon solar eclipse. So I want to make the differentiation, right? So either the moon disappears, which represents our feelings, our emotions, our sense of belonging, or the sun disappears, which represents our path and our sense of identity. So we're in eclipse season in June. And the astrology of June has a lot of other nuances, my dear friends. So, for example, this Saturday, we have Mercury, the planet of communications and thinking, going retrograde. And you've all heard that, right? Oh, retrograde must be a terrible thing. Well, tell that to the 1/3 of the population who was born under a Mercury retrograde. I mean, the point being, Mercury retrograde, from Earth's perspective, that means going backwards. It doesn't really go backwards, friends. It just is a perspective, comes with regularity about 1/3 of the time. And our consciousness as humans, for about 1/3 of the time, we're napping, sleeping, unconscious, rebooting, reorganizing our cellular structure when we sleep, right? So in any case, we've got this Mercury retrograde coming up. So I know some of my clients and friends and so forth are scrambling to make decisions before the big retrograde, although it's already been in the shadow. So our minds are on the pinnacle of being worked out. What do I mean by that? My suggestion to us all, and for me too, is to think about your thinking with this full moon eclipse. How do you gather your information, your data, to arrive at solutions and wisdom in your life? How do you come to conclusions? See, Gemini in astrology represents the dualism of thinking. Each of us, beautiful humans, and I guess most mammals, have a bi-hemispheric brain. You've heard this, right? This is what Gemini is about. Gemini is the twins. And Gemini represents thinking. So when we're musing about something, when we're thinking about thinking, we're either using the logical part of our gifts, which is linear, left-brained, logical, rational, or And equally important, God doesn't make junk. We got two equal brains here, right? Or we go into the intuition, the right side of the brain, which is all about symbolism. It responds to subtleties, music. So that's why when we listen to, I don't know, a very crafty, laden, persuasive message, i.e., an ad, there's often music or pictures attached to it because the brain is therefore integrating both of the messages and coming to a conclusion. So we are in eclipse season in the signs of Gemini and Sagittarius. Sagittarius rules truth and wisdom. Gemini rules the way we reach our conclusions. So we may be feeling a little scrambled this week, trying to make an important decision. If so, you're in good company. Especially if you're a Sagittarius, Gemini, Pisces, or Virgo, you may be feeling more of that internal stress. Oh my gosh, I've got to come to this conclusion. What am I going to do? Making the lists don't seem to work, right? Being logical. Do I buy this car or that car? Do I marry this man or marry that person? Right? Sometimes just the list forming, the logical left side of the brain doesn't work alone. We need to trust our gut, trust our intuition, trust our emotion, trust how we process things and what makes our heart sing. So that is my message tonight. The full moon might be, just kind of jumping around inside of your psyche and the eclipse. And you might say, I'm going to go in this direction. Nope, I'm going to go in that direction. So you may be feeling a little cognitively disabled, but go with the flow and really rev up that Sagittarius visionary part of yourself and envision how you want to be in the future or how you want to see the future for everyone be. Sagittarius, remember, represents freedom, freedom of expression, freedom of ideas, freedom of movement. You may say, what is she talking about? You know what I'm going to talk about next, right? So we do have a little bit of curtailment, possibly because of the crisis at hand, the ongoing crisis. Considering our sense of freedom, our sense of being able to travel, our sense of being able to express ourselves. I'm freely expressing myself on this wonderful platform. Again, CIA Agent 56 here, or maybe on my personal page, wherever you might be. I thank you for being here tonight. But we do know that most of the communication that we're doing tonight is via the FB place. So what was interesting to me, because remember, truth is being revealed this week, right? Truth. So one of the stories that came out this week was that a whistleblower from FB came out, last name Ball. I'm being a little paranoid here. And he very bravely and courageously said that the algorithms and the mechanics of this wonderful platform, which I love, I love FB, has a two-tier approach when they start evaluating or making conclusions, making truth about the people who use this platform. And remember, I don't own this platform. You don't own this platform. Last I checked, there's only a collection of very powerful, rich people who own this platform. In the old days, we would call this the town square, this platform, or all the social media. That's why this world that we have right now that's been affected by social media has been so stressed out, right? Because we're depending upon the mechanics of technology to keep us connected. Certainly we all have during the age of the CV. It doesn't mean whatever, the past year, the Capricorn lineup year. So what I'm saying here, friends, the truth came out about that there's different tiers. And if you're a hesitant person, or you're a cautious person, or you do research, or you are jumping on the V for the V wagon, you are going to be earmarked. There's two tiers. So that came out. That's one news story. The other one which caught my attention, because I'm a long-held interest in everything interesting. I'm interested in everything interesting. UFOs. Who would have thought that the U.S. Senate would be clamoring to gather up information, data, Gemini, and have hearings regarding unidentified flying objects? Well, that's another purview that Sagittarius wants to open up and crack open. Very interesting. Very interesting. Truth is out there, right? So those are just a couple of quick tidbits about the outer world, but the inner world of your home and family. How are you trying to make some conclusions? The full moon lunar eclipse as of today might help you if you use both of your brains. You can't just rely on the logic, friends. You have to rely on the intuition and give it a voice. How does a decision make you feel? Even if it's an impossible dream. I mean, Sagittarius rules the impossible dream, right? It rules tomorrow. It makes me think of little orphan Annie in Annie. She would sing about tomorrow. So think and envision this week under the light of the eclipse, under the light of the full moon, how you want to obtain and maintain the gifts of freedom in all of its splendid glory, sovereignty, the ability to speak your piece, the ability to come and go as you want, freedom, freedom, freedom. That's also a Sagittarius world. So a big hello to Ashley and Paula. Thank you for sharing. I forgot to mention this, my dear friends. If you share, your name goes into a basket, which is somewhere. Here. And if you share, we do drawings during our hour together, and then you get little prizes. You know, I like to share with you because you're sharing with me, and I really, truly appreciate it. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please come back to the CIA page. Please like my Facebook page, Cassandra Joan Butler, astrologer and teacher. All right. Denzel, welcome. I have to finish that, my dear, about the free chart. Yes. Just go to my website. There's many avenues online. Miss Lady from London, I'm answering your question. On my homepage of Cassandra Joan Butler, you have a little app that says explore or discover your astrology. And then that goes to another website. I'm not physically doing it. We astrologers are sharers, right? So you can find out where you have Sagittarius in your special, I call it the spiritual DNA, your special chart that no one else has. Even theoretically, if you're a twin. Well, that's another story. That's another workshop. Since we've talked already, I think we've talked about 20 minutes. The Earth, wherever you are, has been spinning, and the horizon has been moving and moving. So we are spinning through space. That's why it's important when you have a chart, if you happen to know not just where you were born, the date, but also hopefully the time of birth, to put that together. Thank you for sharing, Deb. Sherry, honey, yes. Now, I want to address Sherry's comment. If you are Sagittarius, and Sagittarians are the Santa Claus characters of our zodiac. They're often filled with optimism and love, and I know that's so true about Sherry Lynn. With this eclipse, there might be some anxiety, almost like a physical sense of nervousness. Anxiety, my friends, according to Chinese medicine, is very different than, say, worry or fear. Anxiety is almost a physiological reaction to stress, whereas worry is rumination and overthinking. That's the earth element. So, Sherry, I'm not surprised you're feeling anxious. And you say it's not like you, but see how you are going to be feeling once our beautiful moon goes into Scorpio. Let me give you the time, which is somewhere. Give it another day, Sherry. Give it another day. Thanks for sharing, Deb. Hi, Timothy. Okay. Wow. Yeah, this is a big wow, Timothy. You obviously know some astrology, so you're getting back on your path, and you are going through some opposition, and that's fun too. I could just have conversations. There's a lot of astrologers in the room. If you put some information on, I'll just give you my little feedback too. I like to feedback with you, friends. Hi, Denzel. Thanks for being here. Hi, Stephen. Hi, Leslie. Thank you for sharing, sweetie. Thank you, Lindell. Wow, Julie. I knew you were knee high to the 30s. Really happy birthday, sweetie. And your birthday is falling in between the eclipse seasons. Powerful year for the Geminis. All of you Geminis, because the North Node, which represents movement into the future, has been in Gemini since May of 2020. Let me talk a little bit about these eclipses on a bigger scale. All right, so we are all in this together, friends. We are all living under the same sky. We are all living under the same experience. We have the same weather, no matter where we are living on the planet. That's astrological, right? So every 18 and a half years, the eclipses are in a polarity. Gemini and Sagittarius are the polarity now. And that's why those of you who have been following me for a while know I've been harping since May, June of 2020 about this whole conundrum about what to believe about the big V and how to deal with the big V and the reaction to it's because we're living under Gemini Sagittarius polarity. So I encourage everyone to do your own research. If you don't have time because you're raising families and making a living, do it anyway. but then trust your gut. Trust your gut about making decisions that are so essential for your independence and individuality. That's the Sagittarius piece. All right. Paula, Colleen, I know, Deb, sometimes that we can feel that way. And remember, all of this energy is probably activating your sense of self-worth and also finances during this particular time frame. Hi, Colleen. Okay, Cindy, that's a real statement. I love that statement. I didn't want to be around people today. Yeah, your fourth house. Perfect example. When the full moon eclipse is in the fourth house of home, Cindy is verifying that she just wants to cuddle up in her own space, to retreat, to go within her own safety net. And those of you who are new to astrology is this ultimate language which says we have 12 major areas of life. One of them is home. And so for you, Cindy, that was a very good aspect to do. Yeah, the UFO information coming out will be fascinating. So stay tuned to your Senate hearings. My brains are tired. Makes sense, Donna. Yeah, because it's so much activity. It's almost like this cognitive dissonance between what to believe, who to believe, what's real, what's not real. That peaks up during the eclipse. Things will calm down, and then we're going to go up after the Mercury retrograde. I would suggest this week to kind of go within yourself a little bit more and redo projects that you were thinking about doing, but left them on the wayside about 3 months ago. You might just, open up those projects, whatever they be, creative projects, working on the home, organizing papers, connecting with people. Okay. Okay. Hi, Krista. Hi, Renee. Hi, Abu Baker. Oh, thank you. Okay. So a lot of people, yeah, Mary, I happen to know you're a Virgo, right? So the Virgos and Pisces are really feeling not so much pushback, but the energy of the eclipse is coming at them from right angles. Let me explain. Let me show it to you. Let me demonstrate. So if you're a Virgo or a Pisces, you might have this feeling of blind spot, like you're being hit, sidelined. I mean, not literally, of course. Well, who knows? But you may be feeling the sense that I'm being pushed into different directions. I'm not being able to go straight forward. So that's especially true for our Virgo and Pisces parts of our charts. Hey, Alicia. Hi. And the eclipse is purged, ping your Venus exact and your grand stellium. Wow, intense times. So for you, Cathabel R, I wonder if you've decided to either write that book or take a hold of that truth that you want to share with others, maybe through a program or a seminar or something like that, and really polish it up. And during the Mercury retrograde, I bet you will have some time to polish it up. Okay. All right. I don't know if that resonates with you, Cathabel. The moon is in your 6th house, Carol Lee. So that means it's a time for you to take care of yourself, for being extraordinarily diligent and create a new routine. Make friends with the way that you are managing your time allotment with self-care, Carol Lee. All right. You got your attention, right, Kristen? The poor no, cancel, delete. There's nothing poor about any of the signs. I almost said, oh, those poor Pisces. What a silly thing to say. Because when Pisces gets into a mood, I know I'm around a lot of Pisces energy. They can be a little victimizing, a little bit. But anyway, the Pisces could be really energized by the square of this eclipse. Irritated first, but then motivated to take action, Kristen. Okay? You're conjunct Neptune right now. So you're opening up to spirit like no other time in 148 years, Cathabel. Sagittarius rules, dear Jill. It rules the hips. It rules the liver. And that's why we say a lot of Sagittarius types of people love wide, striding exercises. Yes, like running, like walking, sometimes cross-country skiing, like getting out there and getting their heart rate up and doing the wide movements. All right. Yeah, the ups and downs would be bigger for you, dear, depending on where also your Neptune is. Okay. Paula, I think, not taking away from what you just stated, and I appreciate your sharing your experience, but this is a conundrum type of energy where be gentle with yourself and at least go until Mercury is direct at the end of June to make any decisions about what direction to go in. Sometimes the best solution to not knowing is being okay with the not knowing and really resting. And we all have our coping mechanisms. I personally like to take naps. Some of you might want to take a walk in the woods, read a book, detach yourself, and go into a different mindset. We all know that. And I think one of my pet peeves in being in the what we loosely call the spiritual community for pretty much all my adult life is the idea that we're always and continually creating our own reality. You've all probably have said that. I certainly have said that. And yeah, we do create our own reality. But yes, reality creates us as well. And that's the yin and yang, that's the ebb and flow of the reality of astrology. When there's a full moon, things get illuminated. And when it's an eclipse, it gets emotional. And we can track this. We can do research on this. Over the past few years, I've had the opportunity to do some very serious research, for example, on the charts of psychics and mediums. There are certain tendencies that are very evident on those charts of people who practice the right-brained arts, right? This is what I love about astrology. Astrology is very logical and very left-brain, but I have a very strong right brain as well, which I will demonstrate to you in mere minutes when we do our intuition and mediumistic messages. Okay, what do we do to cope with the high intensity of emotions? I need to breathe. Lynn, fantastic. To breathe. And yes, Cindy, all of the breathing, or sorry, all of my messages are just done randomly, sweetheart. So all of you, of course, can always book a reading with me, CassandraJoanButler.com. I've availability at different times of the globe to accommodate people who are not in my time zone. But in any case, the breathing, Lynn, is one of the best options we need to do right now. And let me explain why. Breathing is the purview of Gemini. Gemini is an air sign. It rules the lungs, it rules the brain, it rules the nervous system. And we know from a mechanistic, physiological point of view that when you take your deep breaths and hold them, you're releasing and relaxing the vagus nerve. And then you're able to lower your blood pressure and feel more calm. One of the fallouts of the year of V has been global fear. And we astrologers all did predict that. Remember that? All of us predicted that fear because we saw the planet of grumpy old man and the planet of death kissing in the sky on January 12th of 2020 in Capricorn, which represents structure and security. That has not happened for 600 years. And when these two planets got together, we knew something big was going to happen on our planet relative to the governments and businesses through the lens of fear. So we should always remember that we've all gone through a collective initiation into a new sort of being, no matter how this past year touched you. It has also been a year of courageous achievement of getting through it. The consciousness has shifted a lot, and that's what happens when we have an eclipse. We're going to have another big eclipse on the 10th of June, and then we're going to be talking and thinking and talking about the things I've been mentioning relative to Sagittarius, which is freedom, the ability to move, the ability to travel, the ability to speak your mind, and we're going to have more and more avalanche of pushback against people, governments, societies squelching said freedoms. And then a little prediction, but we'll be talking lots more about that as we get into the fall. When the eclipses move into Scorpio and Taurus, which is later this year, and it's going to be coloring the next 2 years, give or take. We're not going to be talking about the V anymore. We'll be talking about real fundamental essences, which we'll have lots of time to share about that. Okay. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Rhonda. Yeah, the empathic awareness and psychic mediumistic abilities are so strong on the planet now, friends. I can't say enough about nurturing that right side of your brain. No matter if you think you're psychic or not, you are. You absolutely are. I have a question here about how to, I want to talk to you about Dr. Hawkins. I have a great Dr. Hawkins story, Edna. Thank you for bringing him up. Okay. The unexamined life is not worth living. Well said, Paul Dijon. Yes. Yeah, Jill. Yeah, lower back. Yoga is fabulous because yoga is the yin and yang. The yoga word, the yoga practice means yoke, right? Balancing yoke, the two forms within ourselves. So yes, yoga and breathing and walking and napping and meditating. And I think, Melody, I want to get back to your question. The coping with a high intensity of emotions. I have a little technique I want to share with you. Having been, not just an astrologer. Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with just being an astrologer, but I'm a trained therapist too. My first job was in social work. I'm social work trained, etc. So one of the things that we can do when we are in a really tense situation is we can embrace it in that moment embrace it in that moment and say, I am really feeling sad, but give it a set time. So then when we get past that time, we're no longer allowed to experience that. We take control. When we are feeling out of control, we make provisions in our time element to create space for us to embrace whatever emotion we're embracing in that time and saying, I'm acknowledging I'm sad. I'm acknowledging I'm tense. I'm acknowledging I'm anxious. And then you might set the timer on the clock and say, when the timer goes off, I'm going to shift my awareness and my attention into something else. This is also along the lines of some NLP techniques too, right? I remember I was using this 20 years ago during the eclipse when the moon was being eclipsed in Cancer. And I was heartbroken about a particular boyfriend that wasn't calling me. Have anyone had that experience? Well, why do I expect him to call me? It's not, it's anyway. Marianne Williamson's books helped me during that time. I decided what I did do, though. I followed my own advice, and this is specific to a broken heart. But I was sitting there on the bed and wailing and crying, and then a little NLP technique is to turn on music you don't like. And then it kind of takes your mind away from thinking and ruminating about the thing you don't want to think about anymore. And this kind of auditory stimulation can level the playing field so you're on to the next thought. There's a whole lot of different tricks of the trade that I want to share with you guys over the next year or so. And I'm thinking about different formats to do that because I'm a teacher of TCM and applied shiatsu and different NLP techniques and breathing techniques, and yes, meditation techniques. There's nothing like a good meditation. And with this full moon lunar eclipse, if you've been thinking about taking care of your spiritual, philosophical, and even religious or political ideologies by owning them and being okay with whatever you believe in, even if you believe in nothing, that's okay. That's your truth. You want to embrace that over the next week or so. Truly embrace who you are, what you are, and be all right with that. No matter what he or she or anyone says, you have a right to your own thoughts, philosophies, and feelings. That's one of the messages of this full moon lunar eclipse. And my thoughts. To get more astrological with you, the full moon was conjunct the South Node. What's the South Node in astrology, friends? It is the place of emptying out, releasing, and letting go. So there's going to be attitudes and thoughts and feelings of people and career aspirations and goals that no longer fit you, that you can breathe out over the course of this next few days. Let it go not because it's a full moon, but because it's a full moon on the South Nodal axis, a time to release. It's called the dragon's tail. Let it go. Let it go. It'll come through you, the emotions, just let it go. I am not going to think anymore about that boy when I was 9 years old in fourth grade and he refused to share his lunch with me. I'm not going to think about him, Quarterbridge. All right. Secondly, the moon is squaring Vesta. Now, Vesta is the asteroid that's associated with doing spiritual practices. So we may be saying to ourselves, I consider myself a spiritual person, but gosh, I haven't meditated or done my yoga or gone to my church or my temple in a couple of years, but I know I'm spiritual. This full moon lunar eclipse in Sagittarius, which is the recognition of differing religious and philosophical ideas, might prompt you, might encourage you, inspire you to take that next step and to integrate what you believe into a practice. So that's a cool thing, right? Number 3, Neptune is conjunct our friend Pallas Athena. Now, Pallas Athena is the asteroid that represents the advocate. What, my dear friends, in your life are you protecting and fighting for? What is worth fighting for in your life? Is it your ideas? Is it your family? Is it your career, your country? What is worth fighting for, advocating for? With Neptune conjunct that arena in the charts right now in the sky, I think that's asking us to sacrifice what we need to sacrifice from a loving-hearted way, from an unconditional place of love and inspiration from the Creator God, and step into what you need to do to advocate for the thing and people and situations that are worth it to you. So that's number 3. Number 4, the moon is trine Chiron. This full moon gives us the license to do a lot of personal healing, a lot of deep healing of things that we've only been thinking about taking care of for the past year. In other words, Chiron trine is a nice flow of energy. The moon is asking us to be our own mother ourselves when it comes to taking care of the aches and pains of our soul or our heart, and yes, our physical bodies. Take care of it, right? You got an ache or pain? Get yourself to a massage therapist, an acupuncturist, or do your own self-care, right? Massage your own hand if you have hands that don't quit with pain or more. And then the other thing is Venus is conjunct Mercury, and Venus represents love. Mercury represents communication. Read a book that you love. Read a website that you love. Maybe recreate your own website through a vision of love. Redo something that will give you joy that is in the realm of communications. So that's another aspect of this full moon lunar eclipse. Keeping in mind, the minute that Mercury goes retrograde, we might feel a little overwhelmed with all the things that were left undone previously. And we're in a mark, we're in a turn in the road right now. But when we get to Saturday, we have another little hiccup. And with that Mercury retrograde, don't think it's going to be catastrophic. It's not going to be terrible, but you're going to be going back in your history and thinking, oh, gosh, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. I have to complete a lot of tasks. Oh my gosh, I didn't pay my taxes for the past 10 years. I don't know. I'm okay with that. But I know people who haven't. The point is, when the Mercury goes retrograde, it's asking us to redo and reconsider things that we've been putting on the back burner. And that takes place on Saturday. Alrighty. I want a big hello. Oh, Dr. Hawkins, the map of consciousness. You know, he is very brilliant. I think he's in spirit now. Like Dr. Hawkins' story. So I think it was in 2005. He came to Toronto. Should I tell this story? Is this interesting to anybody? There are certain gurus in the world, right? Like really luminous, big people in the spiritual field. And he is certainly one of them. And I've rubbed shoulders with most of them, you know, because I went through a time in my life, 30 years worth of Sagittarius progressed sun, where I went to every darn seminar with every luminary spiritual teacher I could get my hands and my ticket to. So I'm very blessed. That was what I was doing. 30 years and in between trying to be a good mom. Sorry, kids. But I would drag them with me to the seminars, you know. But Dr. Hawkins, oh boy. In a huge room, there are thousands of people up in Toronto. And he's brilliant. He's written some wonderful books. The Power and what is it? Power and Force. Brilliant stuff. And he has a map of consciousness. And me being a very much an advocate for astrology, I truly am. I mean, I am passionate about sharing this with you guys. Passionate because it's helped hundreds of thousands of people I have touched in the past 40 years. it makes us realize that we're not alone in the universe, as above, so below, that we're all connected. It's a wonderful gift from Creator. Now, it can be misused, and hopefully that's why Dr. Hawkins was so prissy with me. I walked up in front of the stage, and there's thousands of people, and I was a little nervous because he's the big guy. He's the big guru. And I said, Dr. Hawkins, I have a question for you, sir. What are your thoughts of astrology? Oh my gosh, I have never been so publicly humiliated. If I chose that, I wasn't really, because I'm too hard bristled. He looks at me and says, I can't do the look. Astrology. Yeah, what's that? It's a bunch of dots in the sky, and they look like a dog, and they look like a cat. Does that mean you're a cat or a dog? Oh my Lord, I could have started crying and being humiliated, but fortunately there were some evolved souls in that room who stood up and applauded me. And I said this to them. I said, but Dr. Hawkins, what about like Liz Green? Like she's a heroine to me. She's a fabulous astrologer. She's psychological. She's archetypal. Read anything by Liz Green. All right. She's amazing. Or Robert Hand. I'm name dropping, but astrology is so rich in its archetypal and amazing connections between the left and the right brain. Well, a couple of people stood up, and I said the word Liz Green and archetypal astrology and Carl Jung. They applauded me because they could see the big guru was trying to squash the little ant. I don't think that was nice of him. He might be brilliant. He might be a spiritual guru, but he wasn't a nice man, in my humble opinion, which is never really that humble. Hi, Marianne, Kimberly. Hello. Oh, is it really, darling? The sky is gorgeous. Okay. All right. So let's go through, my dears, before you all have to go. And because it's getting, is it really that late? Oh, we have to do some, produce a mediumship before we say goodnight. That's right, Julia, right? Okay. So let us now, my dears, do a little bit of information about each of your signs, and use this as if you know your rising sign, use this. This is very much Reader's Digest astrology, but it might help you navigate this beautiful lunar eclipse energy in Sagittarius. If you are Aries, this is activating your 9th house. It's activating your house of communication and marketing and traveling and learning and moving about. And it's helping you identify what it is that you believe in. That's for our Aries friends. For Taurus, it's helping you identify your personal power, your ability to navigate your financial awareness. It's also helping you on so many different levels to create new intimacy with the people you care about. For Gemini or Gemini rising, this particular lunar eclipse is activating anything having to do with partnership, your BFF, your best friend, your spouse, your significant other, even your close connection with your little furry best friend. If you are a Cancer or Cancer rising, see how the lunar eclipse is motivating you and inspiring you to take care of you in a new way. Your work and your health care is being activated and inspired to become more reflective of the truth of true health. If you are Leo or Leo rising, this energy is asking you to become more playful, more creative, to invite joy in your life. If you're Virgo or Virgo rising, this energy is focusing on the home and on the family and doing all those little intricate nuts and bolts and crossing your T's and dotting your I's relative to making your home a more comfortable place. If you are Libra or Libra rising, the full moon lunar eclipse is activating the way you're communicating. It's activating the way you're taking care of your time. It's activating how you want to treat others with your words. It's activating your communication skills. If you're Scorpio or Scorpio rising, this energy is saying, you know what? You're worth it. You're worth it. It's in your 2nd house of self-worth, values, and finances. It's helping you to create more abundance in your life. If you are Sagittarius or Sagittarius rising, all eyes are on you. It's helping you to become more fearless and more pronounced and charismatic in your truth, the truth of your individuality. If you are Capricorn or Capricorn rising, it's all about your retreat, going within yourself, becoming a little bit more meditative or connecting with your spiritual side. If you're Aquarius rising, take a look at how you are navigating your social life. Are you making new friends? Are you joining groups? Are you leaving other groups? You're becoming a little bit more social and taking the time to find like-minded friends. Last but not least, the beautiful Pisces or Pisces rising. This is a time to advocate for your service, your leadership in the outer world. If you're looking for a job or you're in a job, to take the reins and do great things with your work. All right. Take a picture of the sky. I wish you guys could share that with me. I wish you could. Good morning, Pramod. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you very much for being here very much. I know I just had to share that story. I had to share that story with you guys. My rubbing elbows with spiritual guru story. This Sunday, you're all invited. I do a monthly worship service. It's called Divine Grace Fellowship. It's on my personal page. We do meditation, and we're going to do messages like we're going to do right now. And it's a lot of fun. So please come to that this Sunday at 12 noon. That's Eastern Daylight Time. And we'll be talking about, you know what, Gemini. I'm going to do a little drawing right now. Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you. All right. Okay. What I'm going to do, what I'm trying to think of a more efficient way of picking people randomly for the mediumship. I'm just going to go right into it because we started a little late and we might go a little longer than normal. I apologize. I got off on my little rants here. All right. Taurus. All right. Got some little, because I love y'all, you know, Dennis and you, Jill. Taurus, of course, is the 8th house. This energy is activating your finances, Dennis, and your personal power, your spiritual power, your emotional power. And for you, Virgo, darling, Jill, it is all about your 4th house, home and family. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my finger, and I'm going to find a couple of people to do some mediumship with. I'll say my prayer. Dear God, please allow me to serve. Please allow my words to be filled with love and light and truth, inspiration and healing for everyone's highest and best as we align ourselves with the Holy Spirit. And I'm just spinning my thumb. And when you interact, I have more opportunity to connect with you. And I'm not sure what page this is coming from. I'm not sure, but we'll come up with some solution. We'll brainstorm to make this more fair. And my finger is resting with Chastity Nicholson. Chastity Nicholson, are you still in the room, my dear? Chastity Nicholson. All I need from you is to say yes. Yeah, let the fingers do the walking. Chastity, yes. Hi, Anita. Okay, thank you. All right, darling, here we go. I'm tuning into your energy, and this is purely psychic stuff, right? This is my mediumship. I'm turning up my right brain. And sometimes I feel a little, I'm mirroring what you're feeling. Chastity, I'm seeing big circles. It's almost like a modern art. You know, if you see modern art, you see swirls of color, but they're circular, like a slinky. Anyone remember what a slinky is? Those little swirls. And I'm seeing all this wonderful, it's almost like it's artistic depiction of circles. So I want to say that there's an artistic quality about who you are. And sometimes you're not confident with it. And either, I don't know if you've been doing art or you are an artist, but within you, there's so much expression that's coming in from the right brain that you are, yes, logical and linear at times, but this isn't linear. I'm seeing circles and circles and circles and circles. Sometimes when I see circles, that could represent being an astrologer, for heaven's sakes. But I think with you, Chastity, you're really striving to get out of your own way to open your intuitive and artistic gifts. Does that make sense? Okay. You can feel free to dialogue with me, Chastity. The other thing I'm picking up with you has to do with the creativity that's inherent with animals. Animals. I don't know if you have two. I get two furry little friends. There might be two dogs, but what I'm picking up about these animals is that they keep you grounded. There's been a very difficult series of losses. I want to go back about 9 months with you, Chastity, and it's mostly friendship losses. Does it make sense? Feel free to feedback with me, Chastity. It could be some friends, some estrangement, feeling that we don't understand each other anymore, and then wow, at least I have my pets. Oh, okay, you're starting a jewelry business. Beautiful. That's what I was. You specialize in rings. You have two fur babies. I love getting the feedback. Is this fun? I love doing the spiritual stuff because I don't have a clue what I'm saying. Why? Because I'm opening up the right side of my brain. If I started getting afraid, I could never even open my mouth, right? Okay, lost a lot of friends for sure. Honey, let me say this to you. Things open up enormously in September. You are making products and some amazing jewelry. Your creativity is well, I'm seeing the rings, maybe multi-level strings of beads or something, and the rings themselves, maybe big hoops. You've got an eye, but do something with swirls. Maybe do some jewelry relative to astrology. I don't know. Wouldn't that be cool? You're in for a huge deal. The word deal, but breakthrough with business for you. This new business, Chastity, in September for you. Okay, lovely. Thank you for the feedback, sweetheart. Will you many blessings to you, and you go, girl. Okay. All right. One more, my friends. It's getting late, and we have to go meditate. Right? We got to get to our meditation stools, or pillows, or whatever, or beds. Right? Okay. All right. Lorianne Kuziak. Hello, Lorianne. Are you in the room? Lorianne. Lorianne. Are you still with us, baby? Hello, Lorianne. Okay. Thank you, Kimberly. Who's that? Ariana, thank you. Star Silva. God bless you. Okay, great. Lorianne, I'm here with you. Let me go into my little thing. All right, Lorianne, as I'm tuning into your energy, the first thing I'm seeing with you is wearing a uniform of courage. Wearing a uniform of courage in the face of people who sometimes did. Now I'm going to say this very subtly because your perception, I want to go back by May to around 4th, 5th grade when you were like 9 or 10 years old, depending on how you were educated around those time frames, whereby there was a series of events where it wasn't trauma from parents as much as it was trauma from a teacher or someone who was not being very kind. And you may have lost a little bit of footing with your confidence. Now, trust me, you are not a confident person. You're very confident today, but but there's something about that time frame where a teacher said something was misinterpreted. And I don't know why I'm saying this to you, obviously, but you have exceeded all the expectations of friends and family in your life to date with your achievement. You've done so well. You're so accomplished. But sometimes that little 9, 10-year-old comes out and self-doubts herself and her opinions about things. And so the message I'm giving you tonight, Lori Ann, is that you are wearing this uniform of courage right now because you are no longer that 9, 10-year-old. And I want to go back to someone in spirit who's alive when you were around that time frame. And she's a very bosomy, I think it's a grandmother, or it could be great grandmother, but she's a very bosomy, loving, supportive presence in your life. And she's coming in here right now, right here, reminding you of how special you are, and that in that specialness has a sense of sensitivity, and that because you are so sensitive, that is why you are so good with helping people today. All right, so it's that sense of back then, there's that moment when people were teachers, I feel they were just kind of criticizing you. You took it to heart, and you're trying to rebuild your confidence this past year because people were not aligning with what you were believing in. I think it's in relative in regarding the crisis on the planet, the V for the V or what have you, my dear. But the grandmother type is coming in and reminding you how brilliant you are. And she uses the word brilliance, that she wants you to remind yourself of your exceptional gifts that are both, we're talking about this tonight, both creative or spiritual or intuitive and linear and intelligent as well. So I hope that resonates with you, my dear Lori Ann, and I want to thank you for being here. And I want to thank you all for being here tonight. Hello, Val and Humanon. Thank you. Thank you for returning tonight. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, dear friends, for being here. God bless you all. Star Silva, I'm sorry, but what I'm going to say to you right now, because you just are in my face right here, and I usually just do two. Quick message for you, honey. Breathe. And don't take what's happening to you so personally with the relationship. All right. They know not what they do. He knows not what he does. Just kind of go and burrow in and believe in you. So, my dear friends, I'll leave you with that kind of generic but specific to stars comment tonight. I wish for you a very illuminating full moon lunar eclipse. It's powerful. It's asking us to believe in ourselves and our own truth, and let go of the nuances that are standing in our way, because the lunar eclipse is next to the dragon's tail, right? That conjunction means we're emptying out so we can refill in the middle of June 10th. God bless you all. I'll see you next week, and have a great week. Thanks.